Yesterday in Roscrea we saw a despicable, disgusting act by the Irish state on our democracy. Peaceful assembly is enshrined in the Irish Constitution. Yesterday, the corrupt state attacked ordinary people who were peacefully assembling and protesting due to the concerns they have with the sheer volume of migration and asylum seekers coming into their communities. We've seen the issue in Roscrea in particular with the impacts on local services, lack of infrastructure, lack of facilities and lack of integration facilities as well for people who are coming into the communities. But this is all at the fault of the Irish government and the political establishment and many other NGOs who go along with a narrative pushed by the 1% to make huge money for these people while everybody else suffers and ordinary people are suffering with lack of basic services in Irish society. And it's interesting to note the commentary around this. The Minister for Integration, Roscrea of the Green Party, he should be renamed Minister for Disintegration because part of his policies and remit has caused chaos in Irish society. Has said he will even not go down and meet the people of Roscrea. So it demonstrates a number of facets. One of the facets is the utter and sheer contempt that these ruling classes and their political spokespeople have for the concerns of ordinary people. And the second facet is the huge power that is used by the state to exercise its authority without any democratic mandate from the people. Because it's vitally important we have real community voices heard. Real democracy starts and ends with the people. It starts with community sovereignty, it starts with county sovereignty, it starts with town sovereignty, and it ends with Irish sovereignty. That's a basic democratic right for anybody. And in the context of democracy, it's vitally important now more than ever when we're being ignored by the political establishment and many of their media spokespeople and also many of their non-government organisations who are funded hugely, should be renamed government organisations to push the narrative of the 1% to keep dividing people. So the finger of blame should be pointed at the government's policies, the political establishments who aren't listening to people, who preach, speak down to people. And we need people who stand up for Irish democracy, Irish independence and Irish sovereignty. And in particular we've seen the lack of truth being told in the context of the war in Ukraine, the proxy war in Ukraine, that Ireland as a neutral country is partaking in complicitly by supplying weapons training to Ukrainian soldiers. Not to mention the huge migration chaos created because of the war in Ukraine, because of the reneging on the Minsk Accords by France and Germany. There should have been peace. But in the context of this, we've seen Ireland bowing down to their European masters, bureaucratic masters in the European Union, such as Ursula von der Leyen, unelected head, and Joe Biden's White House by cutting off the cheap gas supply to Russia, mysteriously blowing up the Nord Stream, and now paying through the nose for our energy, which is creating a huge catastrophe in Irish society, on ordinary people, plus on businesses up and down the country. And in the context of Roscrea, it's important because, as I said, this is a hotel which is vital for the community, provides much needed venue for people in the area to use for various events, and also accommodation for people who are coming in to spend money locally in the town and to provide real economy to be driven forward and to be supported and helped in terms of small businesses who rely on their livelihoods up and down in every town and village in Ireland, much the same as here in Dublin, where small businesses are the lifeblood of each and every small community. And the heart and soul is being ripped out of Ireland by these political establishments who are more interested in standing up for the globalist paymasters and the 1% rather than the interests of ordinary people. We need to stand up for the interests of ordinary people, for the interests of democracy, the interests of Irish independence and the real interests of Irish sovereignty, like so many people did in previous generations before us, against the rotten, corrupt ruling classes and the political establishments and the media spokespeople we have here in Ireland. We need to get the truth out to all these events. We need to get the real facts out so people can make up their own minds rather than the nonsense being portrayed and division being portrayed in society by the ruling classes.